Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Cilinix Crypto. Hope you're all doing great, and welcome to your daily XRP update. Of course, we'll talk about everything you need to know for XRP today, going into the weekend. But obviously, I'll be back with weekend updates as well. We have some major news coming out today, not specifically for XRP or Ripple, but some major news for the entire markets, and XRP will move together with that. Because when we're talking about the current situation for XRP, obviously it is still very, very dependent on Bitcoin. I mean, it looks like right here that most coins are not really correlated, and that most coins are kind of going whatever direction they want to. But ultimately, the correlations with Bitcoin are still quite high. And for XRP specifically, the correlation right now is 83%, which is high. All right, so therefore it matters. We'll talk about that in a moment. Yesterday, we also, for everybody who missed that update, it can happen. We talked about Ripple RLUSD, so the Ripple stablecoin a bit. I think that's doing quite well. If you look at the market cap, we've seen some consistent and pretty major growth in that. So if you want some fundamentals for XRP, for Ripple that are relatively positive and optimistic, take a look at this. This is good to see. It doesn't really justify us to rally right now, but it's good to see. And technically, XRP has also not been weak. I mean, quite a lot of people in the comments have ridiculed me for saying, "Oh, XRP looks quite good," and I understand. I mean, if you look at the daily time frame, like, would you say this looks good? No, you wouldn't. And obviously, I will not claim that this looks good, but I very often take a look at the lower time frames. And on the lower time frames, XRP looks fine. We're just finding stability right here between 2.32 and 2.55. We've been able to stay on top of the point of control right here, which is that yellow striped line, for the majority of the time, at least in the last couple of days. So technically, that's also a bullish confirmation, or at least an indication of more bullish momentum. And when we're talking about, okay, then we're going to break out, right? Because we are in a range right now. I would say getting some sort of a bullish breakout is more likely, both technically but also fundamentally, because the fundamentals around the markets are actually not looking too bad. You'd beg to differ, but they aren't. I would say a move to the upside is also more likely. So that's what I mean when I say, okay, I'm relatively bullish on XRP. But okay, so like I said, but for now, I mean, is there any excessive momentum? Like, is there any reason for me to tell you, oh, I think we're going to break out? No, I think it's more likely we will remain relatively stable. And today we do have some news that is most likely going to cause major volatility. The news that we're talking about is the following. At 12:30 UTC, so this is UTC plus 2, we actually have CPI and inflation rate data. This is the first major economic data event that we're getting in a very long period of time. So just in general, there's going to be a lot of eyeballs and a lot of capital on this, ready to trade and ready to make actions and ready to make decisions based on the result that we're getting. So in that sense, volatility is definitely expected. But the outcome of this, like I would especially say if it's lower than expected, which is a good reading, right? We want low inflation. If we get that, I think there's actually a possibility, especially also with the news yesterday that the Federal Reserve is most likely starting quantitative tightening or stopping quantitative tightening. I think that could be a catalyst to actually see that move into 2.6 and 2.65. And if we get higher than expected data, obviously that's bad, but would I expect XRP to fall down below its support between 2.3 and 2.2? No, because on the short term, it really doesn't change anything regarding the monetary policy for the United States, which is the key reason why inflation rate matters, right? I mean, at this point of time, we have about a 92% probability that we're still going to get 2 rate cuts in December, and I doubt that the data reading is going to change that. So there's limited downside risk, I think, and there's some upside rewards when we talk about XRP structurally here. So overall, I already think, given the current circumstances, XRP is holding on relatively well. I think it's most likely that we'll actually remain in the stability between 2.55 and 2.25. Let's keep it at that. If we get some good news today, I think that could actually serve as a catalyst for a move up. Now, whether that's going to be a sustained move up or just a one-time short liquidation, we'll see about that, and I will keep you updated on that, but that is at least what I think you need to know for now. So thank you for watching, everybody. Take care. I'll see you on my next videos, and bye.